Now at Lowe's, get the lowest prices of the year on select appliances. Get up to 45% off and save an extra $100 on every $800 you spend on select appliances. Valid through 12/6. Savings vary based on purchase amount. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com for details.
Is this the time?
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Lakers are going to Vegas this week. All expenses paid by the NBA. The Lakers beat Phoenix last night by 3. Exciting atmosphere at Crypto.com. The win sends the Lakers to Vegas for the semifinals in the NBA's in-season tournament. They'll play New Orleans Thursday night. Milwaukee and Indiana meet up in the first game. LeBron scored 15 of his 31 points in the fourth quarter. Austin Reeves had 20 off the bench, including a clutch three-pointer with 15 seconds left. The Lakers got a huge break with 7 seconds left when the refs gave them a timeout after Reeves lost the ball. The Suns came up with the loose ball near their basket and would have had a chance to tie the game or take the lead. Oh well. The Clippers are back in action tonight. They take on Denver at Crypto. A win puts the Clippers back at 500. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
It's the gift-giving season, and we have a gift for you. Visit us online at KBLA.store for holiday savings of 20% off all of our KBLA swag. For the best in merch, gift ideas, books, media, and more, log on to KBLA.store right now. And be sure to check out our KBLA team favorites at KBLA.store today. That's KBLA.store for all our official merch on your favorite talk radio station, KBLA Talk 1580, at 20% off, but only during the holiday season. Happy holidays.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
It's the gift-giving season, and we have a gift for you. Visit us online at KBLA.store for holiday savings of 20% off all of our KBLA swag. For the best in merch, gift ideas, books, media, and more, log on to KBLA.store right now. And be sure to check out our KBLA team favorites at KBLA.store today. That's KBLA.store for all our official merch on your favorite talk radio station, KBLA Talk 1580, at 20% off, but only during the holiday season. Happy holidays.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
Summer day, my Sherry, more distant as the Milky Way. My Sherry, more pretty little one that I adore. You're the only girl my heart beats for. I wish that you were.
The soulful song stylings of Stephen Morris, better known, of course, as Stevie Wonder. I've said this so many times on this program and in my life. I tell Steve this all the time when I sing. I don't care what the occasion is. Let it ride, Miles. I don't care what the occasion is. There's a Stevie song for it. I mean, and nobody has ever written. You think about the subject of love and how inexhaustible that subject is. Nobody has excavated the subject of love better musically than Stevie Wonder. Turn it up, Miles. Turn it up. Turn it up. Soul and Jania Aponte are the creative couple who curated the art exhibit Art Melanated Presents Our Celebration of Stevie Wonder. The exhibit brings together artists whose work pays tribute to the legendary Stevie Wonder. The exhibit is presently here in LA through December 31, I believe. We'll talk about that. But soon to hit the road and perhaps coming to a city near you in the not too distant future. And I want you to hear about this exhibit. It's an amazing exhibit called Art Melanated Presents, our celebration of Stevie Wonder. I've seen it. I was completely blown away by the exhibit. I invited them on this program so that when it starts moving around the country, you will have heard it first on Tavis Smiley, and then you can go see it and check it out for yourself and see if I was right about how amazing this thing is. So let me start by saying, Soul, it's good to see you. How are you today, sir?
Good to see you, my brother. Excellent. Good
Wonderful.
to be here.
Good to see you. Jania, how are you today?
I am wonderful. Get it?
I get it. I got ba-dum-bum. Oh, she's a comedian too. She's a comedian too. All right, let me jump in. I got to make the most of this time. We only have these 30 minutes. Tell me, Soul, about how this project came to be, sir.
Man, we were at an event about a year ago honoring an artist, and it was called Breaking Bread and Giving Flowers. And it was a beautiful event, and they were celebrating an artist, Sanford Biggers. And when we left, we were in the car, and we were like, who would we, if we had the opportunity, who would we want to celebrate and give flowers to? A few months go by, and we were approached by our friend Julian, who is the GM at the Andaz. He had been to one of our previous exhibitions, and he said, man, I got this gallery space on the mezzanine level of the Andaz. I would love for you guys to activate it and do something. When he told us about the history of the hotel and it being the Riot House, and Little Richard lived there for over 2 decades, we started thinking, and we were like, okay, maybe this is that moment. Who better to celebrate with a rock and roll and musical legacy than Stevie? He had become a personal friend of ours, and we talked to him about it. He was on board, and then boom, voila, about 6 months later, we activated the Andaz Hotel on Sunset Boulevard with a full-on celebration through art and imagery, photography by Bruce Talaman, another legend, and memorabilia to celebrate Stevie.
Tell me, Jania, about the curatorial process, curating this thing.
Oh, my God. I love curating, and I love curating with my husband. But let me just insert something. 16 years ago, when we first started dating, he had a Stevie Wonder playlist. And that's when I said, you know what? I can be with this guy.
You the one.
It's okay for me to.
Is that all I need? Is a Stevie Wonder
Keep
playlist?
one in your
yes.
deck. Keep one on deck, Tavis.
Michelle Obama said the same thing, by the way.
She sure did.
She sure did.
Yeah.
Curating, what had to happen was you had to be obsessed with Stevie Wonder, because there was an artist we absolutely loved her work. I won't name her, but we said, hey, we're doing this show on Stevie Wonder, and she said, I'm not that familiar with his work.
Bless her heart.
We'll call you back.
Yeah.
My phone is interrupting. I got
Right.
interference.
Bad connection. No, but so we needed artists that really loved Stevie's work. You know, totally understood. He's been the soundtrack to all of our lives.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it was really about loving Stevie and really giving. Each artist has such a different. You saw the show, such a different iteration of what they expressed in terms of Stevie.
I'm laughing at whoever this artist was that shall be nameless on this program, except in the commercial break. Tell me, but anyway, they'll be nameless on the air. But I'm laughing when you say that, Jania, because I was just about to say that I have been honored, as you know, to interview just about every major artist. I've been so fortunate over this 30-year career of mine on TV and radio to talk to everybody and to befriend so many people like Prince and Stevie and so many other great artists. And I have never talked to a single artist and asked them about their own musical influences, and they did not have Stevie on their list. Now, they may mention other people,
I agree.
but to a person, every artist I've ever asked, tell me about your influences, to a person, black, white, red, brown, yellow, Stevie Wonder is on the list.
Absolutely.
So hear that story just kind of blew me away. Just getting started in conversation with Soul and Jania Aponte about this new exhibit called Art Melanated Presents Our Celebration of Stevie Wonder. More about the exhibit when we come forward, and always a good excuse to play some Stevie music. So take it away, Miles.
I got some candy Kisses for your lips. Yes, I got some honeysuckle chocolate dripping kisses full of love.
You're listening to Tavis Smiley. Ranked number 45 on the Heavy 100 list of the 100 most important radio talk show hosts in America.
Escalade IQ. This the intro to the all-electric Cadillac perfection like Zoom. And on a full charge, you get 450 miles without the stop. Haiku. This is what I do. Daddy fat in the Lex since 92. Linked all the way back, panoramic roof. Come with 24-inch rim standard. Ooh, why? Shawty don't kill him. Cadillac diamond in the back, cold chillin'. And when I'm on attack, on the track is no ceiling. Sky's the limit. You hear me? You hear me? Straight drop, no parachutes. Lay lines like a longitude and latitude. Deal it, beloved, clearly we're hustling. Bustin', truckin'. Cadillac, Cadillac, Cadillac.
For more on the Escalade IQ, visit Cadillac.com.
Available late 2024. GM estimate 450-mile range on a full charge based on development testing and/or analytical projection consistent with the CHA 1634 revision 2017 MCT. Range subject to change prior to production. Annual rates may vary based on service factors, including ambience temperature, terrain, battery age, and condition loading, and how you use and maintain your vehicle.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, Maisha Cairo here, KBLA, live at Chase Bank on Crenshaw and Vernon for the In This Together tour with female business owners, a day of empowerment, community panels, and best of all, tips on building business from marketing to capital. I was able to speak with Kate Luzio, former banking executive and now owner of Luminary, who partnered with Chase for this tour. She makes it her business to build community for business owners.
Yes, so I was a banker for 20 years before I decided to become an entrepreneur. 7 of those years were actually at JP Morgan Chase. One of the biggest things that I had going into my entrepreneurial journey was a big background in banking.
So what advice are you giving business owners looking for financial backing today?
So Chase brings in so much knowledge and the opportunity to understand what financial tools are out there for business owners to build, grow, and scale their business. A lot of business owners will say, well, I need to get a loan immediately. Well, you wouldn't just lend money to your friend if you didn't know why they needed it. I tell every business owner, you need a business plan, you need financial projections, you need a banker. Because you have to start building a relationship with a banker so that they get comfortable with how you're going to build that business and so that they can eventually support you in different ways.
Makes sense. So visit the Chase Community Center on Crenshaw and Vernon. Meet a banker today. Tell them about your business. I'm Maisha Cairo in the community for KBLA with JP Morgan Chase.
Hello?
Man, where are you? I thought you were coming.
I can't. I'm in bed with the flu.
The flu? Whoa. Grandma's about to crowd surf. Man, I'll call you back.
Don't get stuck at home with the flu. A flu shot is safe, effective, and you can get it at the same time as your COVID-19 vaccine. A flu shot is the best way to prevent the flu and its potentially serious complications. Don't get flu FOMO. Learn more at getmyflushot.org.
Brought to you by the AMA, CDC, and the Ad Council.
More honesty than you can handle. More empowerment than you can imagine. You're tuned in to Tavis Smiley.
I see us in the park, strolling the summer days of imaginings in my head, and words from our hearts, told only to the winds, felt even without being said. I don't wanna bore you with my trouble, but there's something about your love that makes me weak and knocks me off my feet. There's something about your love that makes me weak and knocks me off my feet. Knocks me off my feet. I don't wanna go.
I say this all the time whenever we play Steve, that it's hard to step on him. I mean, this is a talk radio station, right?
Come on.
And we have to talk. That's what we do. When you play Stevie, it's just so hard to step on that Negro.
Oh my God.
Because he just sounds so good. Turn it up, Miles. Turn it up. Turn it up. Turn it up.
What an angel.
What an angel. And he still sounds good. Hey.
So how does one go about, Jania Saw, you tell me, how does one go about approaching artists for an exhibit in tribute to Stevie Wonder? Like, how do those conversations go?
Yeah, we've been building our platform, Art Melanated, for about 2 years. And it's developed, originally, it spawned out of a documentary project. We're creating a documentary called Art Melanated, showcasing a myriad of emerging and mid-career artists. Those that we feel are some of the most important of our time. So we've been, exhibiting them and others in our orbit for about a year and a half.
Yep.
And so when the Stevie exhibition came up, we just, went through our mental Rolodex of, who's dope, who would work, and whose work
we love.
Whose work we love, and represented a kaleidoscope of work from the community. There's sculpture work in there, there's collage, there's oil paint, there's work on, using acrylic, there's work that includes Braille. So
and our favorite, Bruce Talaman, he's a photographer. He's 74 years old. He shot Stevie in the 70s and the 80s. And
that one photo that I was telling you about, Jania, the photo, there's an amazing photograph of Stevie and Barry, the chairman, Barry Gordy. I call him Mr. Chairman.
In their prime.
In their prime. But I did not know the backstory to that photo. I saw the photo. I mean, you see the two of them and the way they're looking at each other, the exchange that they're having. Bruce captured that exchange so beautifully, and this photo is in the exhibit. But I did not know the backstory until Jania Aponte told me the backstory. What was happening in that story, in that picture?
Oh my gosh, Bruce was the only photographer in the room. It was the day that Stevie handed Barry the tapes for Songs in the Key of Life. And Stevie told me, I said, Stevie, what's your favorite album? He said, Songs in the Key of Life. And to have that photograph, for him to be in that room, and this is a time where no one had camera phones. Like, he was shooting on film, obviously, and we have that photograph, an enlarged version of that photograph, and it's printed on silver gelatin. It's beautiful. The way you really want to print your photographs, and it blows me away every time I see it.
And Bruce was there that night. The night that I came, the night that I came to the exhibit, Bruce was there. I've known Bruce for years, and so we talked for a while that night. And even Bruce didn't tell me that backstory. It took Jania, the curator, to tell me about that.
He's full of stories.
Yeah,
I know he's got stories. Everything.
Yeah, but can you imagine? I just want to pause for a second. Can you imagine being in the room as Bruce was the day that Stevie turns over the tapes for what is to become Songs in the Key of Life?
Wow. And they call it his magnum opus.
There's no question about it.
What a moment.
There's no question
Shout
about it.
Shout out to Bruce. He has a Taschen book that came out 5 years ago. It's called Soul, Funk, and R&B. Please pick it up. It makes a great holiday gift.
Yeah.
You can find it on wherever fine books are sold.
Yeah. But that moment though. So let's just go there for a second. How do we process what that album became?
Gosh.
How do you process
the song as alone is it to me it encompasses every spiritual book I ever read. How are you covering all of this in 7 minutes?
I tease Stevie all the time. I tease him. I say, Steve, and he knows it's coming. I said, why you don't do ads in concert no more? Like why don't you do it regularly in concert? And he knows my punchline. I said, Negro, you can't remember all them words now. You cannot. When this thing goes to the bridge, and he starts. Turn it up, Miles. Turn it up, Miles. This is what I'm talking about right here.
Listen to this.
So you can't remember all those lyrics, man.
No, yeah, it's too much.
That's a lot of information.
It's a lot
of information in that song.
Yeah, information overload.
Overload. What a gift, though. What a gift.
You know, it's funny. What's funny about this song? Again, I tease Steve because he can't remember. There's just the song goes so many different directions until this and that and this and that and this and that and this and that. You can't remember all that stuff, right?
No, you cannot.
So one day, funny story. One day, Prince was a dear friend of mine. One day, Prince was doing a concert. He was actually doing a concert for me. He was raising money for my foundation for kids.
Oh, nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, nothing, exactly. So Prince calls me up on stage and wants me to, sing with him. And, that's my boy, and I know most all of his music, but on this particular song, I had forgotten this one verse. And I'm on stage kind of. Right. I think the audience is figuring out that I've forgotten this verse, right? And Prince, I look at Prince. Prince looks at me, and his eyes are looking down. He looks at me, and he looks down. He looks at me, he looks down. He looks at me, he looks down. Took me 3 seconds to figure out. Negro, look down, look down. And I look down, and there's a prompter in the floor.
Right.
by his speaker.
Exactly.
And I'm like, oh, that's how you do it when you've written 30,000 songs and you can't remember all the lyrics. You got a prompter hidden in the floor.
So many artists do.
Now you see where I'm going with the song. There you go.
He's
Stevie
so
can't see no
brilliant.
prompter.
Right.
And we've seen him in concert, and I watched a million of his concerts live, thanks to YouTube. And I'm like, how do you remember all the lyrics?
And not only that, but when you watch him in concert, like the way he communicates with the other members of the band.
Oh yeah.
Just by looking in their direction, and and if they're and they're skilled, so they know his movements.
Yeah.
It's beautiful to watch, man.
How geeked were these artists to get the phone call to be invited to participate in an exhibit in tribute to Stevie Wonder?
Immediate yeses.
Yeah.
We were actually with Shana McCoy. We were doing a studio visit. Love her artwork. And we were just telling her we're excited about this Stevie Wonder exhibit we're putting together. And she said, hold up. Are you kidding me? And she pulls down her jacket to reveal a Stevie Wonder tattoo.
Hotter Than July cover, that image. She's got tatted on her shoulder real big.
She's like, I need to be a part of this show. And we're like, immediately yes.
Yeah, she did the one with the thick oil painting where you can't see, the eyes or the mouth. Yeah. It's called harmonic.
This is a radio, so people can't see this, but I'm thinking now about that sculpture that's got faces on different sides of it.
Yeah. Ooh, Chooks.
Yes,
Chooks is a legend.
Yeah.
Chooks is a legend, and we love his work.
Yeah.
And typically he creates work just out of his mind. Like the images that he typically creates are women that just come to him.
Right.
And so Jania actually gave him the idea or planted the seed of like, why don't you create like a 3-sided figure? For Stevie, it was very important that we had sculpture in the exhibition, work that the visually impaired can engage with. And so we have 3 sculpture works in the exhibition, and everything is made available for the visually impaired.
And you mentioned that there's Braille on.
Yeah. Miss Jania's work incorporates Braille. Her piece is called The Alchemist, and it's one of Stevie's favorite books. And the background, I'll let you tell me.
Miles, did you hear that, Miles? I know Miles is laughing at me through the glass.
The Alchemist?
No, he's laughing because we literally just talked on the program this week. I always say I'm amazed how the dots on this show connects. So I was just telling the story a couple of days ago. Who's on? The comedian. Jay Farrell, Saturday Night Live fame. Jay was here. And we were having a conversation about The Alchemist.
Wow.
The Alchemist is Will Smith's favorite book.
Right. Yeah.
And I was telling this story about the night Will came on my TV show. It's been seen millions and millions of times. And actually, Jay was quoting Will from that show about how The Alchemist has just inspired his life. And Will's comment was, if you see me on a treadmill, if we're on a treadmill together.
Right.
You know the clip.
Everybody knows
they
the clip.
know too. Everybody knows the clip. Will's like, if you see me, if we're on a treadmill together, I will die on that treadmill.
That's right.
But you are, it's about his work ethic.
Lose.
It's about his work ethic.
So Will was on my show one night talking about The Alchemist. Jay Farrell shows up this week talking about The Alchemist. Here you come now talking about The Alchemist.
Yes.
It's like that book just keeps popping up on the show.
You know what? I didn't know until after that. I talked to Stevie's wife. he gave her that book to read.
Right.
He loved the book, but I called it that. To me, Stevie's like the ultimate alchemist.
Yeah.
So I called it first. I was teetering back and forth with the title, and I said, you know what, he's the alchemist. And I searched high and low, and I found the book The Alchemist in Braille, and that is in the background of the piece.
Wow.
Yeah.
Another artist, Bart Cooper, did
Yeah.
Braille on his background, and it's My Cherie Amour, lyrics from My Cherie Amour.
Wow.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's
It's a must-see. If you're coming to LA,
no
or
question.
even if you're not, make plans to come to LA. The show is up until December 31st at the Andaz Hotel on Sunset Boulevard.
And we're honoring the greatest. Smokey Robinson said it best. He said, "I believe Stevie is the greatest artist of all time."
Oh, yeah, it's hard to argue that.
You can't as far back as you want to go, and even we both share a love of Prince, but Prince was heavily influenced by Stevie.
Everybody was. That's what everybody was. The first time I saw it, I was looking through the glass when the two of you arrived. I saw you kind of walking around looking at my art collection, some of the stuff here in the building. And the first time Steve came to this building, they came to my office. I was in the back of the building. He came to the building. He comes in, and my receptionist says, "Mr. Wonder's here and wants you to come out front." Okay, sure. Still didn't bring Stevie back to me. Stevie says, "Come out front." I walk out to the front of the building, to the lobby, and Steve says, "Tavis, give me a tour of the building."
Really?
Now, hold up now. I've never had anybody who was unsighted say to me, "Give me a tour."
Wow.
And he could tell by the sounds, whatever he was hearing in his ear. And one of his assistants must have mentioned him. There's art on the walls. I'd literally spent an hour and a half walking Stevie through this building.
Wow.
Which I'd never done, trying to describe the art. And it was amazing the things he could hear and feel. We went from room to room. He said, "Oh, this room's got high ceilings in it." I mean, he could just all with his ears, right?
Oh, yeah.
But I will never forget that day as long as I live, giving Stevie a tour of the building and describing the art and this, that, and the other. He literally wanted a tour. I said, "How do you give a blind person a tour?" So I raised that to ask, how do you give Stevie a tour of the art exhibit?
You describe it. You got to walk him through it. You got to tell him,
And to speak about the feelings, like I listened to Stevie extensively, songs I'd never heard while I was creating the work, and all the artists said the same thing. They were listening to Stevie. They were, really pulling in his, his energy.
The night I was there, I got about 2 minutes left. The night I was there, his wife was there, and she seemed to be enjoying it and having a good time.
She's been there several times.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure he's heard about it then several times.
Absolutely.
Let me close with this in the minute I have left. So I mentioned to the audience that it won't be too much longer before this exhibit wraps here in L.A., December 31st at the Andaz Hotel. So check it out if you're in Southern California, you're coming to Southern California for the holidays, you want to see this exhibit. But it's going to tour at some point. So do we know anything about that, or are we waiting to make that announcement?
We're waiting to make that announcement. In the meantime, please follow us on our social media at Art Melanated and our website, artmelanated.com. Join the mailing list. Join the movement. For us, it's about art, community, and culture, and taking control of the narrative, taking control of our narrative as people of color through art.
I've enjoyed this immensely, and I knew I would, but any half hour to talk about Stevie with people who love Stevie
Come on, man.
and who have put Stevie's legacy front and center in an amazing art exhibit are friends of mine. I love them. Saul and Jania Aponte are the creative couple who curated the art exhibit. Art Melanated presents our celebration of Stevie Wonder. Love you both. Good to have you here. Happy holidays. I'll see you one more again before December 31.
Absolutely.
Before it closes, I'll be there one more time.
Absolutely.
Yay.
More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
If I cannot have you for my own, I'd rather be lonely, alone. I'd rather keep thinking the way that I do. 'Cause all I do is think about you. Oh, baby.
Seeking the truth. Speaking the truth. This is the Tavis Smiley Show.
What's up, party people? It's your favorite MC's favorite rapper, MC Light here. And we're celebrating 50 years of hip-hop, authentically powered by Cadillac. And we're going to take it way back to where it started. It It was only fitting that hip-hop began with teenagers at a back-to-school jam in the rec room of a South Bronx apartment complex by an 18-year-old brother. By the way, I'm also sure he had a Cadillac parked outside. He noticed the energy on the dance floor when he switched between two turntables, extending the beats, repeating the breaks, and never losing the rhythms. And that was the birth of hip-hop. And from that moment, it took off.
For more on how Cadillac is celebrating hip-hop's 50th, visit Cadillac.com/audacity.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. New York Governor Kathy Hochul is putting more than $4.5 million towards expanding the healthcare workforce. She says the goal is to eliminate disparities in healthcare while helping increase diversity among doctors in the workforce. Hochul says more than 30% of New York State's population is Black and Hispanic, but only 12% of doctors represent those demographics. Norman Lear, the producer and writer of some of the biggest hits on TV, is dead at the age of 101. He died at his home in Los Angeles of natural causes. Lear is best known for creating 1970s sitcoms All in the Family and Maude. Lear was a political activist who funded progressive causes as part of the so-called Malibu Mafia. That's an informal group of wealthy American Jewish men. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Now at Lowe's, get the lowest prices of the year on select appliances. Get up to 45% off and save an extra $100 on every $800 you spend on select appliances. Valid through 12/6. Savings vary based on purchase amount. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com for details.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Lakers are going to Vegas this week. All expenses paid by the NBA. The Lakers beat Phoenix last night by 3. Exciting atmosphere at Crypto.com. The win sends the Lakers to Vegas for the semifinals in the NBA's in-season tournament. They'll play New Orleans Thursday night. Milwaukee and Indiana meet up in the first game. LeBron scored 15 of his 31 points in the fourth quarter. Austin Reeves had 20 off the bench, including a clutch three-pointer with 15 seconds left. The Lakers got a huge break with 7 seconds left when the refs gave them a timeout after Reeves lost the ball. The Suns came up with the loose ball near their basket and would have had a chance to tie the game or take the lead. Oh well. The Clippers are back in action tonight. They take on Denver at Crypto. A win puts the Clippers back at 500. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, a.k.a. the Voice of Reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the Voice of Reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Cyber Monday is Dell's biggest sale of the year. Get limited time deals, free shipping, and huge savings on laptops like the XPS 13, engineered to do it all on the Intel Evo platform. Shop now at Dell.com/deals.
They are our love bugs and companions. They are our pets, our family, and they make life better. When we face unexpected challenges, so do our pets. That's why we're on a mission to support people and their pets. Whether donating a bag of kibble, sharing an Instagram post of a lost cat, or welcoming a foster pet into your home, every bit of kindness counts. Visit petsandpeopletogether.org to learn how to be a helper in your community. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
For some children, a single surgery can turn an untreated cleft into a smile for life. But at Smile Train, we understand that most children need a little extra care. They need medical, dental, and emotional resources to grow healthy and strong, to express themselves clearly, and to navigate all of life's challenges so that their smiles light up the room as brightly as possible. Visit SmileTrain.org to learn how Smile Train is supporting the cleft community with lifelong smiles.
Today, young adults face big questions about their future. How will you make your mark? Do you want to be part of something bigger than yourself? Are you ready to learn new skills and make new friendships? Perhaps you have a dream that you're ready to make real. So, how will you make a mark with your future? As you embark on a journey toward finding these answers, the military can serve as a resource for providing help, information, and opportunities. A public service message from the Department of Defense. To learn more, visit todaysmilitary.com.
Teachers are dynamic leaders shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. They're skilled experts, discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, leading by example. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready? Explore teaching at teach.org, supported by the U.S. Department of Education and 1 million teachers of color.
Helping to make you the most knowledgeable person in your circle of friends. This is Tavis Smiley.
How much fun was that? A tribute to Stevie Wonder. This art exhibit is so amazing. I encourage you again, if you're in the Southern California area, between now and December 31 at the Andaz Hotel. It's called Art Melanated Presents Our Celebration of Stevie Wonder. We thank Sol and Jania Aponte for the work they've done to bring us this exhibit in tribute to the legendary Stevie Wonder. Now, a conversation about the instant #1 New York Times bestselling book, Black Boy Joy. 17 stories celebrating black boyhood. I am pleased to be joined now by one of the book's contributors, Tochi Onyebuchi, to discuss the book that brings together these 17 acclaimed black male authors who write about the power of joy and the wonders of black boyhood. As I said earlier, it was an instant #1 bestseller for the New York Times. It is now out in paperback, and I am pleased to welcome Tochi to this program. How are you today, sir?
I am doing wonderfully. Thank you so much for having me.
It's my great delight to have you. Let me just start by saying this is an amazing piece of work. I know that you were honored and humbled to be a part of it, but I want to start by just asking what it means to be a part of a project that changes the narrative, that, let's just call it what it is, tells the truth, right? Tells the truth, but changes the narrative that this country has about black boys.
It was, first and foremost, an honor, but also I have to say it was a bit of a relief. And it was almost surprising how much of an emotional healing process it was for me. Because as a writer, I traffic a lot in drama, in tragedy, in moving people that way. So very rare is the opportunity to make people happy with my work and to make myself happy with my work. And so this project and being a part of it actually filled a void for me. So it was very healing and very necessary for me as the writer.
Yeah. Were you surprised by how instantly it jumped to the top of the bestseller list?
It's funny. Yes and no. I think, whenever something that I'm involved with is successful, particularly in the creative field, there's always that little bit of surprise, of shock. And also, I grew up in an immigrant household where, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Mm-hmm. So there was a little bit of surprise there, but at the same time, I always knew that there was an audience and an appetite for these types of stories. There's definitely a need that we were serving. And so in that respect, I wasn't surprised at how much people really vibed with the book.
Yeah. What is it like growing up as a black boy in an immigrant house in these United States?
Oh my goodness. It's that in and of itself could be the entire conversation. It was it was very interesting, and I have to say too, I had a very charmed childhood. My parents were absolutely wonderful, if a bit disciplinarian, but my childhood was filled with these joyful moments and episodes and aspects. My story, Coping, is about a young black skateboarder or aspiring skateboarder. And when I was his age, my absolute dream was to be in the Summer X Games. So it was wonderful to be able to tap into that and to be able to depict a young boy that I would recognize in myself, and whose portrayal I don't see very often.
Mm-hmm. I am always amazed, and maybe amazed is hope I'm not revealing something that I shouldn't reveal, but I'm always amazed. That might be the wrong word. Certainly inspired by the stories of black immigrant youth in this country, like yourself, Tochi, who end up being fantasy writers and civil rights lawyers and educated at Yale and Columbia. It's quite the journey. That's not easy to do as a black boy born in America, as a black boy who doesn't have an immigrant background. But when you're a black boy in an immigrant family trying to find its way and make its way in this country, and you can still pull all of that off, it's a pretty amazing journey. And so, of all the contributors to this book, your backstory I think perhaps to be the most fascinating.
Oh, thank you. I mean, it's interesting. In immigrant households, there's always that subconscious comparison you're making with your parents, particularly with regards to struggle. And you always hear it when they tell a story like, oh, back in my day, I had to walk to school uphill both ways in the snow and the blazing heat. And so when you're complaining about how difficult your ancient history course is, it becomes a little bit difficult to compare and contrast. So in that respect, the course that my life has taken felt very natural. And also too, in Nigerian households, you're very restricted in your career choices. It's doctor, lawyer, engineer, or disgrace to the family. And so I figured I'd split the difference. I always wanted to be a writer, but I figured, I'd make mom happy by going to law school and being a lawyer for a bit.
Yeah. There's so many stories in this book. As I mentioned, there are 17 amazing stories celebrating black boyhood. There's a story about picking out a fresh first day of school outfit, a story about saving the universe in an epic intergalactic race, a story about finding your voice and your rhymes during tough times, a story about flying on your skateboard like nobody's watching. It's an amazing book, a vibrant collection of stories, comics, and poems about the power of joy and the wonders of black boyhood. When we come forward, we'll get Tochi to tell us specifically about the story that he wrote for this book. It's called Black Boy Joy, 17 stories celebrating black boyhood, out now in paperback. What an amazing gift for Christmas. Hint, hint. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Hope, agency, dignity. This is Tavis Smiley.
Can you dig it? Come on! What is dedication?
My biggest fear in the middle of my addiction was that my kids wouldn't have a father. And I started thinking, you know what? This isn't my story. I definitely had to become a better man to be a better father. It's important to me that my kids are empowered and truly believe that if they can think it, they can do it.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Joey from Vermont, a farmer trying to get through the winter. Adriana from South Carolina, a single mother living paycheck to paycheck. Liam from Ohio, an injured father struggling to provide for his family. Hi, I'm Shanola Hampton, and I support the Feeding America network of food banks because they help provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. Learn more at feedingamerica.org.
environmental justice, pollution, and climate. In Los Angeles and across America, people of color are suffering and dying from disproportionate health impacts on a planet that has less than 10 years to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses, respiratory illnesses, water-related illnesses, food system impacts, insect-related diseases, black maternal health, and mental health effects. As the impacts of climate change mount, millions of vulnerable people, our people, are going to bear the brunt of these extreme environmental events, which will likely lead to forced displacement, loss of cultural identity, and other related risks. These realities are as real as rain. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 for more details about the most progressive multimedia and live events campaign any black media outlet has ever undertaken to combat the climate catastrophe. Experts, events, empowerment. It's all on the way from unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We don't black down. We level up.
Level up, 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 level up.
Did you know that every year, public school teachers spend nearly $500 of their own money for student supplies? At Donors Choose, we want students and teachers to have the tools they need for a great education. And now, more than ever, they need your help. Go to DonorsChoose.org and choose from teachers' requests that support reading, math, science, music, and more. Learn more at DonorsChoose.org.
Donors Choose. Support a classroom. Build a future.
Made fresh daily in Leimert Park, Los Angeles, California. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Tochi Onyebuche as we talk about this book, Black Boy Joy, 17 stories celebrating that is black boyhood. All right, Tochi, tell me about the story that you wrote in this text, and then we'll talk. I mentioned your other book, Goliath, which is pretty amazing, a New York Times pick. That book, your own individual text, but this one again, you were one of 17 amazing writers sharing stories in Black Boy Joy. Tell me about your story.
So my story is titled Coping, and it actually has a double meaning. The coping actually is the little metal bit on a sidewalk, and it's the thing that skateboarders usually use to grind on, to use their skateboard to sort of grind on and do tricks on. But the story also takes place during the onset of a pandemic, and so it is in many ways about this young boy, CJ Walker, coping with the way in which this outside event is changing his relationship with his first love, which is skateboarding.
I love it, but why skateboarding as the epicenter of the story? Why choose? I mean, I think of all the things you could have written about, why skateboarding at the epicenter of it?
Growing up, very rarely saw people like me in extreme sports. Mm-hmm. And extreme sports was an incredible fascination and love for me. I was a snowboarder. I was an inline skater. I loved that. And it's funny because it's a little known part of me, but it was such a big portion of my childhood and adolescence. And when I was thinking of subjects to possibly write about on the subject of Black Boy Joy, that was first and foremost in my mind. And, as I was saying earlier, it's not something that I've seen depicted very often. And I know that there are people out there who look like me who are doing these incredible things, who are, doing 540 McTwists off a half pipe.
I'm thinking as you're talking about the fact that while it is true that you experienced growing up Black Boy Joy, I experienced growing up, I'm older than you, but I experienced growing up a great deal of Black Boy Joy. Had my issues, to be sure. We all have to navigate the difficulties in our youth as black boys, but I had a great deal of Black Boy Joy. Most of that I received because of my 9 siblings and 9 brothers and sisters who I love dearly. So much joy in my experience as a black boy. And yet I wonder, while on the one hand, while we can talk about the power and the fun of growing up as a black boy in a book like Black Boy Joy, But I wonder, on the other hand, whether or not this is, or folk will take this as a sort of Jedi mind trick. And I think you take my point. A Jedi mind trick in the sense that this is not the journey. This is not the experience, if you read the mainstream media, that most black boys have. You read the mainstream media about the condition and the state of black boys, and let's not ignore the challenges that black boys do face, and the suicide rate is highest among young black males, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Run-ins with cops. We know Trayvon Martin. We could run the list of all these horrible stories that we know about the lives that black boys have to navigate. That's a long way of asking whether or not this is in some way you think a Jedi mind trick. I don't think so, because I had black boy joy, but how would you respond to that?
I think that this book is a sort of complement or supplement more than it's a replacement of narratives surrounding black boyhood. Because the troubles and travails that you highlight, and the list could go on for almost infinity, is very real for these boys. And I think for the audience, I think this book is a way of deepening the portrait of black boys. And also for the black audience, it's a way of remembering that, our entire existence isn't just pain and suffering. Those things are very real and very present in our lives, almost omnipresent to a certain extent. But I think as a reader, there can come a particular solace in seeing depicted these sort of bubble moments of joy and happiness, these islands of happiness in a sort of sea of despair. And I think, again, highlighting those issues, those sort of tragic issues that make such a big part of the life of a black boy are very necessary and very informative, but also a way of truth-telling. But I think this book is a way of saying that's not the whole story.
Yeah. I received that. I love the phrase that it's a supplement to the narrative about black boys, not a replacement of. So in that sense, it is not a Jedi mind trick. There are many of us who have experienced black boy joy in our lives. Again, the book is called Black Boy Joy, 17 Stories Celebrating Black Boyhood. Tochi is our guest in this hour. He's one of the contributors to this book. But when we come forward, we'll spend the last few minutes talking about his book. It's called Goliath. It is a New York editor's pick itself. So one of the books he's a part of is a #1 New York Times bestseller instantly. His book is an editor's pick at the New York Times. So this brother is a bad man. And more with him when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
What's your quarrel with the world? You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
My daughter was diagnosed with a rare malignant rhabdoid tumor on the spine. They sent her straight to St. Jude. My hope was gone. But when you get there, everyone's like, hey, we're not going to give up. And when you see other people not giving up on your child, that makes all the difference in the world. When I found out I didn't have to pay, I was just grateful. They saved my baby's life.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
In association with KBLA Talk 1580, the Terry Claiborne Foundation presents its 26th annual holiday party, Saturday, December 9th, featuring live entertainment, celebrity appearances, plus food and drinks. There is a cover charge for this party of the season, but not if you're one of our special guests. All you have to do is go to our website at KBLA1580.com and sign up. That's it, that's all. Just sign up at KBLA1580.com and you could win entrance to the soiree of the season. But whether you win or not, get a ticket, support the kids, and come join us on the red carpet in your semi-formal club attire and celebrate the season with KBLA Talk 1580 and the Terry Claiborne Foundation as we collect toys for the youth in our community. That's Saturday, Saturday, December 9th, 1110 South La Cienega Boulevard, just south of Olympic. It's a holiday party with a purpose.
I'm Terry Claiborne. It's going to be a party. Come hang out with us.
I'm Scarlett Johansson. My family relied on public assistance to help provide meals for us. These meals fueled my involvement in theater and the arts as a child, which fostered my love for acting. The Feeding America network of food banks helps millions of people put food on the table. You can join the movement to end hunger by donating, volunteering, and advocating. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Let's get back to more of this rich dialogue with Tavis Smiley.
Tochi Onyebuchi is a contributor to Black Boy Joy, 17 stories celebrating black boyhood, out now in paperback. I mentioned earlier this would be a great Christmas gift for the black boys in your lives. But he also has his own novel. It's called Goliath, and he is one of these... Tochi's one of these overachieving Nigerians. I know a few of them. He's one of these overachieving Nigerians. It is a top New York Times Editor's Choice pick called the Best Book of the Year by NPR, Time, and the New York Public Library. He is a former civil rights lawyer known for incorporating civil rights and Afrofuturism in his novels. As I mentioned, an overachieving Nigerian, went to Yale, the Tisch School of the Arts, and Columbia Law. So just an amazing, amazing brother. I'm pleased to have had him on this program for the time that we've had. Toshi, I wonder if in the few minutes I have left, you'd say a word about Goliath, your novel.
Certainly. Goliath is set in a post-apocalyptic New Haven, and it's about a group of black and brown brick stackers trying to make a way for themselves in the aftermath of a climate event and subsequently having to deal with gentrifiers from space.
Gentrifiers from space.
Yes. Yes. The aliens are from Brooklyn.
Yeah. as if there aren't enough gentrifiers already on planet Earth. in Brooklyn, in Leimert Park, in Washington, D.C., and beyond. Now we've got gentrifiers from space. I mentioned earlier all that you've done in your career. Why writing? How has writing become your muse, if I can put it that way?
It's actually my mom's fault. When I was a kid, I loved to draw, and Mom would get me these sketchbooks every Christmas, and she saw how much I was drawing. And I think this was her way of incorporating schoolwork into my out-of-school life. So she said, why don't you write stories for these characters? And at the time, I was like, Mom, why are you giving me homework? But then the paragraphs started getting longer, and the characters started meeting themselves, and I realized that she might have been onto something. Wow.
His name is Tochi Onyebuchi, and his novel is called Goliath. It's out now in paperback as well. And speaking of paperback books, out now, the instant #1 New York Times bestseller, Black Boy Joy, 17 stories celebrating that is. Black boyhood is available wherever fine books are sold. Tochi, congrats on both of these texts and all the other stuff that you are doing and have done and will be doing in the months and years to come as you add to your list of overachieving Nigerian stuff. I thank you for your time, and I wish you all the best, my friend. Happy holidays to you.
Thank you so much, and happy holidays to you as well.
Thank you, sir. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
Thank you for expanding the